Hey, I'm Eric. I'm listening to 100 albums in 100 days. For all the details on what I'm doing and why, check out the video pinned to my profile. Today I listened to 1992's The Chronic from Dr. Dre. And I knew going into this that it probably was not going to be my jam just because I'm not much of a hip hop or rap fan. Much like I said when I listened to Biggie's album early on the list. However, I knew that it was a groundbreaking album. I knew that this was a cornerstone album in the rap and hip hop genre. I knew that, so I wanted to listen to it just to hear it. So, with that said, before today, the only thing I'd ever heard from this album was Nothing But a G Thing, and I don't think I'd even heard that all the way through. And then my only experience with Dre. I say Dre like I know him. My only experience with Dre was the movie Straight Outta Compton. So, with that said, I listened to the album. The production is just ridiculous. Just the level of talent that it takes to produce something like this is just phenomenal. The beats, the funk samples, which I think most of them are from Parliament Funkadelic. They're it's just phenomenal. I cannot stress that enough, that how much talent it takes to do that. When I was listening to this on Spotify, down at the bottom, it has suggested playlists, and there was a G Funk playlist, which this album is where Dre creates that sound. This is where G Funk originates and comes from, is this album. So I went down and listened to just sampled some songs in that G Funk playlist, and while they all sound like this, they don't sound like this. They're not. The production value is not nearly as good as this, and I don't think. I don't know the whole genre, but I would seriously doubt anything ever sounded like this again. I think my favorite part though of all the tracks are that whiny keyboard sound that they pull off on a lot of those tracks, that gives kind of a secondary melody to all the songs. I found myself walking around singing a couple of them today while I was just walking around in the house or whatever. Cannot relate to any of the lyrical content of the album. Just not. I just can't. But I realize that I'm not the target audience and never have been the target audience for that. With that said, I can appreciate the level of talent that went into creating this album, even if I cannot relate to the songs themselves. And then the other thing that surprised me, and I guess not surprised me, that may not be the right word, but the Dre that I hear on this album is not the Dre that you see in the movie. I feel like the real life Dre is way more rougher around the edges at this point in his life than the movie portrays, which I get. It's a biopic, and they're going to soften things up and change things to make it more palatable and more accessible to people. I get that, but to me, it's a very stark contrast between the Dre you see in the movie and the Dre you hear on this album. I think they're way further apart than what than they should be. I think I would have enjoyed that movie more if this Dre in the album had been more in the movie. If those guys had been portrayed as a little more, I don't want to say honest, but I feel like they were kind of softened up a lot in the movie than they really were. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't know that I'll ever put any of these tracks on a playlist, just because I just won't. It is what it is. But I enjoyed the album as a whole because of the production and the talent it takes to create those tracks. I would encourage you, if you've never heard it and you enjoy listening to listening to talent, no matter what that talent is doing, I would encourage you to listen to it, because it takes the I think it takes the prize for this whole genre. I don't know that anything else was ever produced like it, and it's the cornerstone, and it's the it's what everybody compared themselves to, and I think they still do to some degree. I read some blurbs about it just a little while ago, and I think that this is what everybody compares themselves to when they want to be taken seriously. So there you go. If you listen to it, I mean, if you, well, let me back that up. If you've never heard it and you listen to it, let me know what you think. If this is your favorite album, give me some thoughts anyway. I want to know what you think.